All right, so now that you bought your domain names and you know that you can have them, then we're going to go ahead and proceed with the next step, which is to actually create those cPanels on the server. Now, it could be that you're creating these cPanels on your own server, like one that you got and then had us tweak and set up for you to make sure it can handle our software, or you're putting your domains on our server. Here's the difference. On your server, you're going to be able to do this process totally on your own. And on our server, you're going to have to send me the file to complete the process, because otherwise you would need to have the server password to do it on your own. We have to be able to, make sure everyone just does 25. Otherwise, you could just do as many as you wanted, and we would never know what was what on the server. So you'll just need to send us the list. So let me just show you how this works, because it's pretty easy, really. Okay, first thing I wanted to do was just bring this up and make sure we don't have any of these. There's like error something. Hello, error, make money online, whatever it is. Okay, let's just see error, make, nothing there, right? Okay, so if I forget the search, let's just take a look. There are 207 domains on there right now, but we're about to add this set of 25, right? So how do we do it? Well, I'll show you. Okay, so software installer. Okay, you're going to log into your account. And then you're going to do, in effect, two things. You're going to set up the cPanel accounts. That'll be the first step. Then we're going to add those. Once we know the cPanels exist and they're real, okay, in other words, these are going to actually happen, okay, then the next part will be to add that finalized information into the website list, okay, so that software installer can manipulate those websites. Okay, so let's start with the cPanel accounts. I'm going to download the sample, okay, and it gave me this. I'm going to open it. Okay, and let's just see what it's saying. Okay, first of all, forget about the top and forget about everything that has to do with email prefix. Okay, ignore all of that. We're only going to deal with from here, this header, across to there. And that's it. That's a cPanel contact information. So let's take a look. This stuff is actually pretty simple. Here's the domain name. So it's going to be this. It's going to be t2ha.com for my server, right? Because that's the one where we allow you guys to put your stuff. Then you would need to know the password to install to it. Now you'd have your cPanel domain name. Let's think about that for a minute. And then username and then password, right? So I'm just going to copy those. Okay. Put those here. All right. Now, I already created a package on the server called main. Okay. I'm just kind of showing you. So if I were to go to packages, okay, that's kind of what you decide for edit a package. You would decide that for the different websites you have. Well, main, I could edit it for the standards that we set. But anyway, there you go. I have a package called main. So when you create cPanels, you need to attach a package to them so that the system knows which rules to use for that cPanel. Well, we made it simple. We only put one package for everyone. So it's just going to be main on our server. Yours, of course, could have, whatever name you apply to it. t2ha.com. I'm going to drag that one down. Okay. Now, what do you need from there? What cPanel contact name do you want? Like in my case, it would probably be theme2html@gmail.com. Okay. But it could be anything else. I could even swap between different email addresses for myself and other guys. Like say you're actually bundling websites in with sales you make, and that's your first 25. You sell like 20 websites out of the 25, then that could be the email address for each buyer, right? Remember, even though I'm dragging and dropping all of this stuff, remember that each row is unique in its own way. This row is the first one. And again, don't worry about anything here with forward email prefixes. I can delete. Okay. Yeah, you're not even going to create emails on this just directly. So just keep it this way. All right. Now, yeah, if you had different servers, you could sort between them. If you had 3 servers, it could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So it would really be this server with that password, and then the next server, then the next server, and you would just highlight that, copy it, and paste it a bunch of times. or do the first server a few times, the second a few, and the third a few. I don't know why you would do it necessarily, other than you're spreading your websites out across different servers just to balance them, and have them in different places. It really depends on how big you get and how many servers you have running. Okay, well, anyway, let's take a look. I'm going to also drag this down because it just, in my case, it happens to be the same email, right? Now, the only part that I would need to do that you won't be able to do is put the real pass in here, because otherwise it would be this, okay? And you would be done, okay? So if you did have your own server, you would be done. By the way, where do you get a server for yourself? Go to hostmonster.com/dedicated, okay? And when you get here, get this one, enhanced, get that one, or go ahead with the premium and get that one. Most of you probably won't use this up that quickly, you just won't, but it's got really good numbers, okay? So you're gonna wanna get it here. Now notice, this thing will be like $100 a month, for a year. So you're talking about $1,200. And you might later attach a backup drive to it, but you don't need to, so it'd be like $1,200. Okay. But it's probably if you buy 2 years out. Otherwise, it's probably going to be more like $160 for 1 year. Okay, so just keep in mind, it's going to be like $1,600 plus, $300. So yeah, just assume $2,000 in a year for a server. Why would you get a server? Well, that's what this is, right? The very fact that we can put hundreds and hundreds of CPanels on it. Imagine if you were to get the CPanels uniquely and they were to cost you $50 each. Well, this is, $10,000 worth of CPanels right here, okay? There you go. It's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so anyway, it's dramatically cheaper to have your own server, and we haven't even come close to using this up. We can put more stuff on here for sure. Okay, having said all that, how does this work? I would take this information right here and copy it, okay? And then you would just paste it into the box. Now notice when I copied it, I copied the whole array. I started with the header row, right? Because I need to identify my headers, and came all the way down. So it's an exact box. I paste it in here as text. Just paste. Do not bother to generate usernames because we already created usernames of our own, and we want to do that so we can keep track of them. So don't. And then you would process the order, right? Well, it's not going to work with that password being fake like that. So let me just go ahead and pause, put the real password in there, start the process, and then I'll show you from that point. Okay. Okay, so here we have it. I'm going to hit process data. Okay. It's going to go ahead and give it all to me. And I made sure all the greens turned to whites. It's all good to go. Now when I start installation, it's going to say, are you sure you want to continue? I'll say okay. And it started. Now keep in mind, I created a new column over here at the very, very end with the results. Look how fast it's moving. Now it's creating them all. One thing I want to point out is that you could have created all these CPanels before you ever bought them. By the way, notice how few seconds that took, like what, 5 or 6, something like that? Really, yes, it's that fast. It's creating like 1 a second. So what's the point? I could have created these domain names. I could have created these CPanels before I actually bought the domain names from GoDaddy. Okay? But the fact of the matter is, it's good to buy the domain names first to make sure you own them. Right? To make sure that they are yours. That way you can create the CPanels for what you actually have. That way it doesn't mix and match or mix you up later when you have a bunch of CPanels where the domain names don't work on them, or you're trying to install the CPanels where you don't have a domain name. So that's obvious. Anyway, that's all done. Let me go take a look real quick. And again, we'll just sort of double check. We had 207 records, right? Now we got 232. Subtract that off. 232 minus 7, that's 25, right? 232 minus 207, that's 25, right? And look at that. Now I make money online, and I've got my AIR in here somewhere, AIR, make money online. So all of these are real, and they did happen. Watch this. I could sort by username, and I'll find my MAKMN, or I could do it this way, MAKMN, find, okay. It's showing me all of them in order, okay? You can see that, right? Another way I could do it, I just created them all. So I could check out the setup date from the oldest to the newest, flip it again. And those are the newest to the oldest, right? See that? It did them and it did them in order, right? Literally created them in order, right? So there you have it. Whole thing happened in no time at all. How's that for awesome? Okay, there you go. Now you've got the physical cPanels, and the next step that we would have is to actually install the templates to them. Okay, except I didn't actually buy these websites, right? I'm doing this for a demo, so I did not physically buy those websites. So we'll install the websites that actually exist. Anyway, there you go. There's the next step in the process. All right.